What if I told you that one day, artificial intelligence could become the absolute most powerful technology on Earth? Seriously, think about it for a second. More powerful than the internet, more powerful than social media, maybe even more powerful than entire governments and massive multinational corporations. Now, I know that sounds kind of impossible, right? Well, some of the top experts out there believe we're entering a future where AI could literally influence almost every single part of our lives. So we really have to ask the massive elephant in the room question here. Can AI actually control the world? Is the whole idea of a machine influencing humanity completely ridiculous, or are we already stepping into that exact reality without even realizing it? Well, let's unpack the whole shebang in today's explainer.
Okay, part one. AI is already everywhere. Because, while we spend a ton of time speculating about some distant sci-fi future, the truth is AI is already working heavily behind the scenes right now, today. Just look at our everyday routines. AI is what recommends the YouTube videos you click on. It suggests what Netflix show you're going to binge next. It even helps major companies filter resumes and hire employees. And on a much bigger scale, it helps doctors analyze incredibly complex medical data and assist scientists in making huge, groundbreaking discoveries. Really, every time you open an app on your phone, there's a very high chance AI is pulling the strings behind the scenes. It's totally woven into the fabric of our daily lives.
That brings us to section 2. Control versus dependency. Because if AI is getting more and more powerful every single year, how much influence could it actually have down the line? To answer that, we really need to completely reframe this concept away from the whole Hollywood domination idea.
When we hear AI controlling the world, our brains almost immediately jump to the Hollywood myth, right? Robots taking over cities with lasers. But the highly likely reality is actually far different. Picture a world where AI manages global traffic flows, controls our delicate power grids, helps run critical hospitals, manages complex global supply chains, and supports entire financial systems. So is AI technically controlling the world in that scenario? Well, not exactly, but society would be profoundly, inextricably dependent on it. Let's do a quick, kind of terrifying thought experiment to put this into perspective. I want you to imagine that electricity just suddenly disappears across the entire globe, just for 1 week. Think about the blackout effect. Without electricity, modern cities would instantly struggle. Businesses would completely grind to a halt, global communication would slow down to a crawl, and hospitals would face life-threatening challenges. Now, electricity doesn't rule the world. It doesn't wear a crown or sit on a throne. But our complete and total dependence on it gives it a massive form of structural power. And some experts argue that our reliance on AI could very soon become exactly like that.
Moving into Section 3, the power of influence. This is where we explore how an AI system, one that is smarter than human experts, can gain massive, undeniable influence over our society.
Imagine you need medical advice, and an AI provides a perfect diagnosis instantly. Then, say you need some legal research done, and the AI accomplishes in seconds what takes a team of highly paid lawyers weeks to do. Then add in processing millions of financial data points, faster than any human team possibly could. As AI provides these faster, highly accurate answers in specific fields, people are naturally going to rely on it more. And because influence creates power, the more we rely on it, the more authoritative it becomes.
But let me pause here and clarify something absolutely vital. AI doesn't have personal ambitions. It is a tool created by humans. AI isn't going to become the boss of humanity because it doesn't wake up one morning, stretch, and decide it wants to rule the planet. It just doesn't have an ego. However, that absolutely doesn't mean there aren't massive risks. Consider high-stakes decisions. Imagine governments using AI to draft major public policies, or banks relying entirely on algorithms to approve loans, or companies letting AI decide who gets a job. The real danger here is blind trust. If we stop questioning these AI decisions, mistakes made at a massive scale can unfairly impact millions of lives in the blink of an eye.
And this brings us to a crucial point. Humans must remain in the loop. AI should be the ultimate assistant to people, but it should never, ever replace human judgment completely. We absolutely need our empathy, our context, and our ethics as a safety net.
Which leads perfectly into Section 4. Who controls the AI? This is easily one of the most vital questions we face as we step into this future. We have to figure out exactly who holds the keys to this unbelievable technology. So who will really have control? Will it be national governments,
Massive private tech companies? Maybe international organizations? Or just a tiny elite group of tech leaders? Compare this to the invention of the internet. The internet itself wasn't the issue. It was a game changer. The real issue is always about who has access to it and how they use it. The exact same rule applies to artificial intelligence.
And this leads us to an extreme scenario that scientists are actively discussing today. It's called artificial superintelligence, or ASI. We're talking about a system far, far more intelligent than human beings, capable of solving incredibly complex problems that we can't even begin to wrap our heads around.
If a system like AI ever actually comes online, humanity is going to face entirely new, monumental questions. Like, how do we ensure it stays aligned with human values? How do we guarantee absolute safety? How do we prevent catastrophic misuse? I really want to emphasize that these are no longer fun science fiction questions for some movie script. These are urgent, highly debated topics that researchers are trying to solve right now to protect humanity.
And finally, Section 5, a human-driven future. Because, when we focus entirely on the risks, we completely forget about the breathtaking, world-changing opportunities sitting right in front of us.
It's all about balance. Yes, on one side we have the risks. Misuse, mistakes at scale, and value misalignment. We absolutely have to take those seriously. But on the other side, we have massive opportunities. If used responsibly, a powerful AI could help us cure diseases that have plagued us for centuries. It could help radically reduce global poverty and discover limitless, clean energy solutions. The future doesn't have to be some doom and gloom scenario. AI could literally become the greatest tool humanity has ever created to solve problems that seem completely impossible to us today. Ultimately, true control doesn't belong to the microchips. True control depends on human decisions, human values, and human choices. The future isn't going to be decided by cold machines alone, but by how we, as a global society, choose to build and use them.
And that is exactly why I firmly believe that understanding AI may just be one of the absolute most important skills you can develop in the 21st century. I want to remind you that the future isn't some distant thing waiting for us. It is being actively built right now, and every single one of us is part of this transition.
So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Do you think AI will ultimately help humanity thrive, or will it become simply too powerful for us to control one day? I would absolutely love to hear your take, so let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed diving into this topic, be sure to subscribe to The Explainer, because tomorrow belongs to those who understand what's coming next. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep on learning.